All right. Big unification fight, man. This end of this year has been the time of unifications. And we got another one at 175 pounds between Arthur Beterbiev and Wojciech from the Ukraine. This is going to be a great fight. Definitely something you don't want to miss. Really glad that it's happening. Let's talk about this fight let's talk about that fight in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel, subscribers. If you are not subscribed, please subscribe and hit the bell icon so you can be notified of when we release more videos. Also, thank you so much to the two communities that support this channel so much. The live stream community, Monday through Fridays, 11:15 a.m. Central Standard Times, and the OG Boxing Talk with my co-hosts, Curtis Anderson, KQKC Boxing, and Blood Boxing for our weekending show on Sunday mornings at 8 a.m. Central Standard Time. Now, man, look, this has been a good amount of unification fights going on in boxing this year. That's one of the more underrated portions of 2019 that people have not been talking about a lot. But in this weekend coming up, we've got one at 175 pounds. That being the fight between Wojciech from the Ukraine and Arthur Beterbiev from Russia. Now, the funny thing about this is that this unification fight is really solving a problem that I've heard a lot about in boxing from the boxing circles that I run around in, the LDBC and American fight fans that have noticed something about the 175 pound division. It is a very heavily dominated or completely dominated at the top by Eastern European fighters. You have scumbag Sergey Kovalev with the WBO belt. You have Wojciech, and if I'm saying his name wrong, please forgive me. I don't speak Ukrainian. Who was the WBC champion? He's the guy that handily defeated Adonis Stevenson to win the WBC belt. Then you also have, and he is from the Ukraine. You have another Russian who is Dmitry Bivol, who is Dmitry Bivol, might mess up his first name, Bivol, who just recently defended his belt. And then, of course, you have Arthur Beterbiev, who is the IBF champion. Kovalev's the WBO, Bivol's the WBA, and Wojciech is the WBC. But none of these guys have fought each other. And that is something that people had been noticing for a while, that not a lot of, although there's a good number of Eastern European fighters that are doing well, that they're really not fighting each other. So Kovalev, I don't remember of a time where Kovalev fought a top Eastern European fighter at 175. Neither has Bivol. Neither is Beterbiev, and neither is Wojciech. Now, Wojciech's a little early onto the scene, but this is going to be an opportunity to see how these guys match up with each other. And I'm very, very much looking forward to it. It's going to be an ESPN fight, and I think this is probably the most competitive ESPN fight that I know of happening this year. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong. There were some other fights that were supposed to be that way. Navrati versus Dog Bay. Navrati versus Dog Bay won, but it wound up not being that. It would just wind up being a situation, I believe, where a true 130-pound fighter is draining down to 118 or 122? Is basically draining down in weight and fighting a guy that's much smaller than him in Dog Bay. So it didn't wind up being that. But this guy, these are two legitimate champions. Beterbiev is a very powerful fighter. He's a very powerful fighter. He's a strong fighter. And you have Wojciech, who I think, I did a video and people didn't believe me when I did this video. It was before Andre Ward retired, after he beat Sergey Kovalev, after the second time he beat Sergey Kovalev. I said, look, man, there's this other guy that looks real good, the Ukrainian Wojciech. this could be a fight that Andre Ward takes that I think it might be a difficult fight for Andre Ward. It might be a more difficult fight for Andre Ward than Sergey Kovalev is because of the style of Wojciech. Wojciech has got that really busy amateur style that you see from Vasily Lomachenko, that you see for Alexander Usyk. That same style where he's kind of pity-patting you and changing angles on you over time, over a period of time. He starts sitting down more on his punches. Now, I think that Andre Ward would have won that fight. I favored Andre Ward in that fight, but I was like, yeah, man, no, I think this dude is the real deal. But then when he beat Adonis Stevenson, I think that cemented it home for a lot of people that this guy really is a very good fighter. Now, Beterbiev has been around for a while. He had I think he was with Jean-Michel out of Canada, but he had he tried to sign with Top Rank, but he had some legal issues around his promotional contract that prevented him from moving over too easy. But now he's over there and he's fighting Wojciech. Thank you. You know what I mean? There's been a lot of people that have complained, and I've complained in the past that, you see a lot of that Eastern European fighters get a lot of credit, and rightfully so. A good amount of it is credit that they do deserve, right? They come into these specifically the three that I'm talking about are Vasily Lomachenko, Wojciech, and Usyk. More so Usyk and Vasily Lomachenko. That they come out and they turn pro very, very late in their career, and then they automatically vaulted up into the chance to fight for championship belts, where you have other guys that it takes a very long time for them to get those opportunities, if they ever get those opportunities. Take, for example, Andy Ruiz. Andy Ruiz had a shot against Joseph Parker, had to go to New Zealand for that fight. I think, and a lot of other people scored that fight for Andy Ruiz over Joseph Parker. And as soon as that didn't go right, throw him to the bottom of the trash can. Unlike somebody like Vasily Lomachenko, who under the same promotional banner, Top Rank, was given a fight very early in his career against for a vacant WBO belt against Orlando Salido, lost it, but then the very next fight was given another shot at it like that. You get the same thing going on with Alexander Usyk at heavyweight. Alexander Usyk has fought nobody at heavyweight, but yet is one fight away from fighting for the WBO. He's already the WBO mandatory. He really doesn't even have to fight again, and he'll get a shot, and the WBO will order and mandate the champion to fight him. So, and before that, now not through the same mechanism, he got a shot at a lot of different belts through participating in the World Boxing Super Series. And I don't have any problem with that. I'm just pointing that out. But one of the things that these guys have not done is they've not been fighting each other. They've not had to see, okay, well, how does an Eastern European style match up with another Eastern European style where they might be more familiar with each other? We get to see that with Wojciech and Beterbiev, and I'm extremely happy about it. My pick for the fight, I'm picking Wojciech. I think that he's probably he doesn't have the heavy hands that Beterbiev does, but until I see somebody really, unless he can fight that type of fight like the Orlando Salido type of fight where he's just really pressing on this guy, he like Wojciech doesn't get tired. Now I've got my own major suspicions around why these guys can continue to pick up the pace throughout the entire fight, but hey man, that's neither here nor there. If Beterbiev is able to do that to Wojciech and wear him down, then I think that Beterbiev has a chance to win that fight. The last fight that I saw with Beterbiev, I can't remember what the guy's name is that he fought. I do believe it was a DAZN fight, but Beterbiev he didn't really look that good. He didn't look that good in that particular fight. I can't remember if he had gotten knocked down or the fight just really went the distance. I think he might actually got knocked down by a guy that he should have beaten. But it was bad enough a performance where Wojciech himself had to say, well, maybe maybe Beterbiev underestimated that guy. I don't know, man. This might be the case where they're trying to feed Beterbiev to Wojcik, but you know, it'll all come out in the wash when the fight happens. The good thing is that it's a unification fight. This will be the second unification fight in 2 months, because we had Errol Spence Jr. fight Sean Porter to unify those belts. Before that, we had a fight between Jose Ramirez and Maurice Hooker to unify belts. We also had fights with Vasily Lomachenko against Jorge Linares, not Jorge Linares, but Jose Pedraza to unify belts. Now, then next month you have Regis Prograis and Josh Taylor to unify belts. It's just a good time for that, man. And I think this fight fits right into that. Let me know what you think in the comment section about the fight, who you think is going to win. And with that, I'm out. Peace.